At 2:38. Driving real quick. Good Clarity, Southern Maryland Publishing.
Eric Richardson, Spin Sheet.
Awesome. Billy.
There we go.
The man needs no introduction. What about Susie?
Susie is by.
It's the brains behind the operation, Billy. Yeah, nice. Happy to be here. It's good to see you. And our Oak Cliff team. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Please.
I'm Ian Dawson.
I'm Ethan Johnson.
I'm Aaron Coyne.
I'm Ali Shand.
I'm Siri Sean.
So meet the future of our sailing industry. So thanks for being here. I've just got a few remarks and some perspectives I wanted to share, and then I'll hand it over to Kim, who will talk a little bit more about some of the initiatives that we've got with the products. Just as some perspective, Harkin is, we're looking at the entire industry globally, but then I want to make some comments about the American industry and showing some bright spots and some optimism. Aside from looking at what we've got for the future in terms of development, it's also about making sure that there's some sustainability in the businesses themselves and some care and custody of the brands and the companies that we all work towards delivering to our customers. And a few things, we're into our 5th year now being 100% employee owned, and we're extremely proud that everybody in the white shirts here that I want to introduce in a minute have been part of delivering to our customers what they need by being of service and being driven, being humble, focusing on innovation, having integrity, okay, and then most importantly for us is taking ownership of our actions and our ourselves. And that's something that I'm extremely pleased to be able to tell you that I'm confident that we've got some of the best folks in this industry. And it's because of who they are and what they've been made, you know, what DNA they're made from and what we do in our little ecosystem in the parking space. So before I get any further, I want to introduce our team. And so I'll start with Jim Anderson, who you're going to hear from a little bit. He heads up our US sales team. And he's been in this industry for a long time, being a boat builder. He knows from the perspective of the boat builder and the end user, what are the needs of the sailor. So that helps us. He also steers our product development process, and that's first and foremost about listening. So we'll hear from Jim in a little bit. Oakley Jones, he's really the heart of the Northeast, but then also this tent. And so if it weren't for Oakley, we'd all be lost. We'd probably be sitting at McGarvey's wondering what time we're supposed to be somewhere. So, and then Oakley here. Peter Doyle, we also like to refer to as Rooster. He's in our Southeast and looks after all of our customers there. And it's important that, although coming from the Buffalo area, he's got a load of experience. He's working a lot as he's getting into the fishing markets. Ben Miller's part of the team. You know, he's our distributor in the Oyster Bay Boat Shop in Long Island. So we're good. We've got alumni here. We've got Sid Billman. Over here, Alan Johnson. He's in our Pacific Northwest. And behind us is this. Who am I missing over here? Here's Skippy. Everyone knows Skip Navos, former rig professional, and he really leads us in a lot of the Grand Prix pieces. And Bill Foddy, who really, I wanted to say thanks to Bill because he helped pull all of this together today. So, and coming in right as the starting gun is about to go is Ron Rosenberg. Ron's our longtime friend and partner with McGee Industries in McLeod. So the only reason I spend the time getting us all to know each other is this is a small industry, and you know that. And karma goes a long way, and making sure that we take care of each other is really important. And I think that's one of those things that's a good reminder. So perspective on Harkin. So our marine business and our safety and rescue business are both thriving. And I'm not blowing smoke. This is our 5th record year in our business. And what we've been able to do with this is engage this employee ownership and the values that I talked about and those behaviors and think about how we can be of service and to listen and to develop. And so we're ambitious and we're optimistic. We're thinking as a company for the next 50 years, not just necessarily for the next 1 year or 2 years. We execute to 1 week, but we've got a vision for 10 years out that's going to be something that's quite compelling. And it only works if we have a healthy ecosystem that we're operating in. And this marine industry is showing a lot of space that I think we can all be optimistic about. I mentioned sort of the care and custody and seeing some of these really established companies and brands thinking about the next generation. We're in a very fortunate position having accomplished that. Peter Hartkin apologizes. The reason he's not here is his buddy Cam Lewis 2 nights ago flew in on a float plane that is tied up on his dock. So they're doing something in Pewaukee, I'm not sure, but he's certainly here in spirit. And the other reason I want to make sure to ask everybody to get under the tent because Edith would be, his wife would be disappointed if we're in the sunshine right now. She is still running the Harkin Derm business quite well. So just a few pieces of observations that I've got. So in the last 2 weeks, I had an opportunity. We hosted Charlie Enright in Pewaukee. He served as our mystery guest for the eScout Blue Chip. And if you're not familiar with eScout, it's 28-footer, sailed in our lake. But we have an opportunity every year to recruit someone that's done something remarkable in the sailing world. We've had just about every America's Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist. So it was really a great opportunity in Charlie's space to have him come and be our guest. And ultimately to learn a little bit about how we make things happen in the Midwest. And he had some really great observations. I'm very optimistic after having spent time with him that he's realistic. He's looking at the U.S. sailing ecosystem and saying change needs to be made. And ultimately, I can see that he's got the capabilities to make sure that there's some changes made, that we can have a really healthy management of our sport. On the other coast, we got Paul Kayard. He's a longtime friend. He just won his second Star Worlds, with a mere 37 years in between. And he's doing a great job of supporting the A1R team and the athletes. And so there's a kind of a restart, refresh commitment to Olympic sailing. Harkin has been at the front of all of Olympic sailing since the beginning. You know this, but our first products won medals in 1968 in the Acapulco Games, and we've managed and we've been alongside our Olympic effort in the United States ever since then. And that's where a lot of the products come from. We'll talk about that, but you see the ceramic bearings from the zircon blocks, those have just come out recently. That came out of Olympic sailing, not out of U.S. Olympic sailing. I have a unique opportunity to serve as one of the folks that works in the selection committee for the U.S. National Sailing Hall of Fame. And without going through the whole list, I think we've all read who's been inducted. I think it's a really important opportunity right now with this group in particular to recognize Sally Helm. And to have Sally be inducted was a really important milestone for me. Stanton also serves on this committee. And we all know that Sally left a debt in this universe. She was one of those people that very quietly was of service in everything she did. And she was an archetype in terms of how you care for your friends, your industry, and then you leave it better than you left, than you entered it. And so to have Sally, who passed away just about a year ago, be recognized and inducted as a member of the hall means a lot. So just a few things, I'll pivot over to some quick observations that I've got on products, then I'll hand it over to Jim. We've got some products that I'm really proud of that I'll call out that might not necessarily live in this tent, but we've put a lot of energy into, one of which is the Dynadrive winch range. And so the Dynadrive is a set of winches that were from the blank sheet of paper designed to be built around a motor. And so we use an epicyclic gear system, which basically means the gears can live inside each other and there's much smaller space. And these are designed for, say, boats 80 feet and up, but they're for these performance and cruising boats that want to have more headroom below and have the best of the best above. And so that's a range of winches that we've made a significant commitment to. And with that, I can tell you that our European market is incredibly strong. And I think that's one of those things when you look at boat building and you look at projects and offshore sailing projects, there's such amazing work that's being done right now. A lot of it in France. Offshore race programs. We're really proud to be on board with Gitana, which is just coming out with their Gitana 18. And this is an old team. It's a 100-foot trimaran. And I could talk for an hour about that, but I would ask if you're interested, we could talk more about that offline. But it's out to set circumnav records. One other piece, just going down to the other end of the spectrum, which is equally as important, is the Ilford class. We're really excited that while it's just in early form, we're still breaking the products in prototype model right now in Milwaukee. We've come out with a new Ilka Vang system. It's going to be 100% composite, and it's engineered to be as strong as it needs to be, as light as it can be, and most importantly, as friction-free as possible. I've been with the company for a long time. As part of the first iteration 20 years ago, when we came out with a stainless steel new Vang that actually worked. Who's been around long enough to remember the Vangs on a laser? When you had to tie bowlines and you had to do all the things, it was a friction machine. So 20 years ago, we were able to make the system possible, you know, in terms of actually trimming it. We've now got a system that's from the ground up the best of the best. And that's going to feature all of our fly ships. So it's going to be very low friction. And it's going to be literally fingertip control. It's going to be really good. So it's currently, its status is, it's in approval process in your class. So there's class approvals required. And we're getting final bench testing done in Milwaukee, but that's always been good. I'm going to end with one thing, and it's with my future industry colleagues here that are off to my right. We're really proud of the Refit My Ride program. And I'm actually going to recognize Bill Foddy because he's been talking about the idea of upgrades and refits for 10 years. And it's been really good. And I want to recognize Barry Ewenson and the whole show for realizing that there's such an important aspect to our consumer space, which is existing boats, older boats that really need to become upgraded. And if you think about the circular nature of our economy and our industry, there's so many products that you're surrounded with here that can last 20 and 30 years. But there's also fresh thinking that you see that's just new coming from boat builders. There's a way to marry these things, and if someone has an old boat, how you can safely lead things to the cockpit and make things operate more smoothly. So E2, Dawn? Okay, so Slick E2, you're going to see an Oak Cliff Par 40 that's live and through this show going to be focused on a refit process. So this team here have their hands on the refit itself. We did a mass up installation of the bath car system.
We, they did it.
Yeah, I love to get it with something. Yeah, very good call. And you know, I think I'm really proud to be able to see that we've partnered along with some other industry brands with Oak Cliff to make this happen. But that's really in many ways the way our future can bear itself, where we've got people that understand how to turn a wrench. I'll quote a pretty famous sailor named Santiago Lang. He said, if there's something to give a kid that's interested in sailing, it's not a new sail or a new boat or even a new ratchet block. It's a toolbox. And if you can have the comfort to be able to work with a toolbox, you're going to go a long way. So I'd say just to wrap and to hand things off to Jim, I mean, I have a chance to look at the ecosystem in which we all operate. And I really do feel like our industry is in this healthy inflection point. You see people investing in these existing companies and growing for the future. And I think our market is primed and ready for whether it's refitting and upgrading a boat that I've got, or finding brand new models. These boat builders coming out with amazing and remarkable designs. There's a lot of cool things that we've been privileged to be part of. Thank you for your time and for being here. As a reminder, we've got some coffee. You can grab something. If we got questions, if you want, why don't we jump to a couple questions and then we're going to have Jim talk about some of the products. But go right ahead.
It's a good question, but I think your description for this, Chris,